All right. Plan for today. Working more on the first sequence of my routine. So it's 3 teams, 1 bottle, 4 teams, 1 bottle. Today I'm gonna dedicate a lot of time to it. Maybe it's gonna be like 80% of all my practice session. Yeah. I'm gonna try to repeat this sequence with the liquid inside and the liquid transfer, everything for the 15 times total. And then at the end of the routine, at the end of the practice, I'm gonna work on the separate moves. So yeah, I'm gonna count it. Like, I mean, how you can count the sequences, how I used to do it, and how you can do it. Like, it's nice to keep the count on the repetitions of the moves and on the sequences and the routines, how many you do it at all in general, so you can see over the time the progress. So if, for example, back in the days, you would be doing like on one day of the practice session, I would be doing like 10 times qualification round and 15 times final round, and then another day I would do like 15 times sequences just separately, so I could mark it down every time, and I would have a notebook or I would have a board where I can, with the pen, like make some mark, and it's kind of one exciting part about this, like when you're tracking it all down. So for example, I remember in one Flair room I had like the black wall, and I would write directly on the wall like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then scratch it, like prison style. And then like after a year or year and a half, I would have all the wall covered. If I'm gonna have some picture, if I will find some picture on my gallery, I will add it here. So it's exciting. Yeah. Today I'm gonna do it with the shot glasses. Every sequence repetition is gonna be shot glass out. Yeah. So 15 shot glasses. Yeah. I already did warm up. Again, bend, some mobility for the neck, for the shoulders. And now I'm gonna go with 3 teams, 1 bottle directly. I'm gonna start to work on this sequence. So let's get started. Like this, 14 times. Okay. I've been on 5th repetition of the sequence. Another 10 left. So far it's doing good with the minor mistakes. Not a problem. So yeah, today I wanted to dedicate extra time for this first sequence because this is the one I have the most, let's say technical tricks, one behind another one, yeah? So if, for example, with another sequences I have very technical hard moves, and then in between I have kind of linking moves, or the moves which are not that hard. This sequence is having like hard move after the hard one after the hard one. Yeah, so this is why it's hard to land it very, very clean. That's why I'm dedicating now a bit extra time to this. And yeah. So I expect today is gonna be maybe 1.5 hour of the practice session. Not long, very easy. Opa. But even if I drop in the middle of the sequence, I will still try to repeat this move. And remember, back in the days, I've been trying to do only 15 times of the sequence without the drops. That was a long practice sessions. But the routine was also much easier for me back in the days. Come on. I have 4 more repetitions left here. It's going okay. As you can see, you could already notice in my routine I have one move with the teeth. Yeah, you may think like, come on Dennis, it's not very hygienic. Yeah, it's true. But the point is, in my competition routine, yeah, I'm doing this move. I'm actually taking the bottle, the puller of the bottle with my teeth, and I'm throwing away the bottle. But the point is that in the middle of all these sequences, I am exchanging this bottle on another one which I haven't been touching with my teeth. So then I can pour from it inside my cocktail. So everything is hygienic, obviously. As well, talking about some unhygienic moves, in example I had in working Flair of this move. Also this tin, then I'm tossing away. Obviously it's all played up with the music and choreography to make it a bit funnier. So yeah, absolutely guys, if you're creating some moves, think about this too, yes? For example, in competitions, when you have to split the tins and you have your thumb, for example, in the tins, it's still okay, because you may assume like, okay, but when you are pouring from this tin, you're not pouring from the part where you touch it with your thumb. So it's kind of, this one can slide, but taking your bottle with the teeth, no. So yeah, I need to be smart about this. Okay, 4 more times, yeah? move I had put it together before this one. Maybe at the end of the practice, I'll try to land it, yeah? So it's one big long move. And 15 repetitions of the sequence done. So now I'll have a little break, 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back to practice. I'll work on some separate moves. So, for example, what I noticed now in this sequence of the 3 teens, one of all this sequence, 3 teens, 1 bottle, the first move which I do, I'm making mistakes the most. And I've been working on it like also in yesterday and before yesterday, all these days, like I've been working on it. And sometimes, you know, it can be frustrating and so on, but guys, you need just to give it a time. For example, today I'm not gonna practice on this. There is no reason. I already did more than enough repetitions for this week of this move. All I can do about this move, like, okay, let it be, focus on another moves, and then next week try again and again, and you know, eventually it's gonna work out. Because, for example, this is one of the moves which I included in my routine maybe a year ago. And as soon as I started to practice it, I couldn't land it properly at all. Like maybe from the 10 times, good if I land it 1 time, yeah? Now it's a bit more stable, maybe it's going like more on 4 or 5 times from 10. So still not that much, but keep on working on this. It's pretty complex move and easy to make mistakes on. So I will give it a time. Now I believe I will work on 3 bottles routines, the last move on my sequence on the stall. And I believe that's it, yeah. Talking about tracking your practice sessions, you know, as I told before, it's nice to mark down sometimes the repetitions, what you need to do. And this is what I've been always telling to the guys. I mean, any practice plan is better than no plan at all. And this is a game changer when you're marking down something, like for example, you tell yourself, I'm gonna make 15 repetitions of this move today, and each time you land it and you're marking it down, it's actually giving you kind of the push to, okay, try to land it more and more and try to complete this plan, you know, instead of like this, instead of coming on the practice session and thinking like, okay, I'm gonna practice today for 4 hours, or I'm gonna repeat this moves for 15 times. So this is the game changer. Like for example, one day you can come and practice session and you're fine with doing 4 hours non-stop and so on. But another day you can come and thinking like, oh, 4 hours today, I don't know how I'm gonna make it. So you're already setting yourself up for a not good mood before the practice session. There is a little life hack for the Flair bartenders. When you have longer move in your sequence and you need to practice it non-stop, usually you're keeping your hands like this, that high. And you're always in the motion, so you have a lot of, I'll say, fatigue in your shoulders, like really quickly it's arriving. For example, this move, for me the fatigue is arriving already, like I didn't even make it 10 times, I didn't even land it 10 times, maybe 8. And I already like, okay, I need to stop for a second to rest. What I try to do in these cases when I'm making the move, I try to keep my hands, instead of like this when I'm juggling, a bit closer here. So I have a less weight, so I can make more repetitions of the moves. For example, especially in juggling, when you're doing like 3 bottles, instead of doing it like with the standard hands like so, keep your elbows closer a bit, yes? You'll be able to juggle a bit longer time. So this is the same technique what I'm applying here. What I'm trying to keep my elbows as long as possible towards my torso, but in moments when I need to split something or there's some critical moment, I open it. Yeah? I touched the ceiling. Still recovered. So, one more time. One more time. It's always like when you need to land the last move of the sequence or of the repetition, it's always falling. I cannot just land it. You see? It's always like this, yeah? Well, a bit dirty, but I'll take it. Okay, I believe that's it for today. Worked on the first sequence of the routine, worked on these separately moves. Easy practice, 1.5 hour maximum it was. So, yeah, now some rest. And tomorrow I believe I will work a bit more on the sequences, like I did on the second day, I believe. Maybe it's gonna be pretty much the same practice plan, 5 times each sequence, and then separately working on some moves. And then next week we are starting to do the routines.